Hi, class. Let's start the chapter. Okay. In the old days, I remember I was working for chartered accounting legal firms, and I asked the lawyer, we started talking about sports, and he said, I don't like hockey. I like tennis. I said, why? He said, I'm into individual sports. So clicked in my mind that there is individual sports and there is group or the team sports. And personally, I do like team sports is because it shows me how the team works together. I'll give you an example. You might be in a team where as an individual, each one of you an A student. But once you work in a team, you're going to end up as a team as a C student, C group, C team. And you might be as individual, all of you as a C students. And when you become a team, you became an A team. And that's amazing in a way. And that's what I like when I watch a group sports. A good example, probably not far from you guys, is 2 years ago, the Canadian Habs. Individually, they were not as good players as Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets were more talented individually. But when it came to the semifinals, Habs beat Jets 4-0, and they got qualified for the finals. So from there, you can understand that working as an individual is different than working as a team. And what you can accomplish as an individual, maybe you can accomplish as an A perfect thing, or maybe B or a C. It doesn't matter as an individual. You need to understand if you work well with your team, definitely you will do very well in whatever is the challenge. Now, the reason we are talking about this chapter, working as a team, is the fact that we want to see how we can work effectively in doing our assignment. But nonetheless, in the future, you will be working, whether you wish or not, you will be working with teams. So it's nice to know from now how we're going to ace our course, but also we will learn how to do well in our work life. So let's start module 2 talking about effective teams and how to build an effective teams. In the beginning, we need to understand what's the difference between what's teams all about and what's the difference between teams versus group. What is the difference there? Now, in a group, there is two or more people working in a common relationship. Teams is a small number of people with complementary skills who are committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. Now, you notice, although we did not highlight complementary skills, I will explain further what it meant by complementary skills. But the question comes in here, and we will do that in the end. we started gonna think, well, wait a second, what is similar in these definitions, group versus teams? What is different there? What does mutual accountable means in this case? How are we going to define it? Is this difference in definition significant? Is this going to make us a B team or a C team or an A team? That definition and understanding this definition. Now, if you look, and that probably makes it easier for you to understand the groups versus the team. In the group, you have people working toward a goal whose work is coordinated by someone else. Example, a manager for them. In a team is people working toward a common goal who coordinate their work among themselves. So if you look at the shape, there is one person who divide the work and manage the whole team, the whole group, sorry. In the team, there is no clear manager. Everybody manage each other. And mostly we will be working as a team, not as a group. Now, it's also this applicable in the business. A manager might divide the jobs on each one of you at work, yet you don't know the whole picture, what he's trying to accomplish if he doesn't synchronize this information with you. So you will be in charge of certain tasks, but you cannot see the whole task. In the IT implementation, there is something called a project manager who divide the small jobs to different IT technician, put it this way, programmers, who does this small job. But if you ask them what they are building altogether, they might not be able to tell it if nobody synchronized them. But in a team, all of you know there is a common goal and dividing the work together. Excuse me. So in this course, you will be work in a self-managed team. So it's not in a group, in a self-managed team. Work weekly on team projects, known as a grasp, will be accountable to each other. And in the end, you will have reviewed by your peers the accomplishments. So, what are the characteristics of effective team? We want to know how we gonna ace our assignments as a team, because we're gonna work as a team. Also, we want to know when we working outside in the companies, how are we going to be effective as a team? So can you please let me know what makes an effective team? Short time, let's think about it. Okay. Stanford came up with the characteristics of an effective team. First, there is a clear unity of the purpose. You know exactly why you are as a team. Self-conscious about its own operation. Clear and demanding performance goals. Atmospheres, informal, comfortable, relaxed. Lots of discussions. Everyone participate. Ability express both feeling, and ideas. What next? Disagreement encouraged and viewed as a positive. When you're in a group and you probably disagree, sometimes it's not encouraged and did not see it as a positive. Consensus decision, and that's important, and general agreement. Each carry their own weight. So once you agree as a consensus, that's what we're gonna do, and then you divide the work, each one will carry its own weight. You can criticize in teams, frank, comfortable, because they are your peers. There is no superior there. And leadership keep shifting. Is depend on the field of experience and knowledge that you have. So we now know what kind of characteristics a team should have. But where is the problems that might happen? So most of the problems that occurs within a team is within the team roles. So we need to understand how we can, what's the roles are there, and where's the things might go wrong in roles. Basically, every team is made of roles. Role expectation. So there is a role and there is a role expectation. There is a role conflict. When there is expectation, there might be some conflict too. Sometimes role ambiguity. Overload. There is a role who does 90% of the work, and there is a role who does 10% of the work. How are we going to look at making sure everybody is not overloaded? Also, you can see it with the amount or quantity versus quality of the work. Specialization. Role underload, that's another problem. So how can these result in conflict? We said there is roles, there is a roles expectation, there is a role conflict, there is a role ambiguity, there is a role overload, and there is a role underload. Let's bring examples of your current work in this class, or to be not causing any problem, you can bring an example of your other classes if you work as a group or a team. Now, how would I find a solution to team role challenges that we see? First of all, you're going to spend in the early to define and understand what is the solution to the team role challenges. So what is the solution for the challenges you have? Some of you probably timing, some of you probably linguistics, some of you probably writing. Each one of us have some kind of a challenging, and each one of us might be enjoying or good at something. So there, one of the steps you need to do is do a team code of conduct. How are we going to conduct our activities? Team code. You can have a contract, probably, officially. I can find a contract for you, just take a look at it. Now, if you like to see that, I can supply you with this some standard contact for team code. What is what is it? What is the team code? It's an agreement that outlines how a team will work and function together. Which team member does it include? All of them. What types of item does it usually include? The group purpose. So you have a group, a team, and there is a purpose for it. Everything in that should be included in team code or the agreement. Work and meeting norms, rules. And let's spend some time understanding norms, how the norms happen, how the rules occur if you leave it natural. Roles and responsibilities. Ineffective team members are accountabilities and teams. Ineffective teams members are accountable to the teams as a whole. Members is accountable for the team as a whole. What does that mean? We'll talk about it. So in the end of this course, you know now that there is a group project and there is peer review, and it's worth 4% of your final grade. And there is a criteria where you're going to do a peer review. What's the criteria? Basically, is you provided constructive comments, these criteria, attendance, they've been attending or not. Are they cooperative with others? Did they meet the team deadlines? Have they taken any initiative? Did they show any leadership? It doesn't mean the whole leadership. It could be a positional or functional leadership within your team. Did they help in meeting team goals and tasks? Follow team code of conduct? And these are the questions that you need to do while you're doing a peer review. Now, a team might be virtual team or synchronous and live in person. And there is different things that you need to take into consideration when you do a remote or virtual meeting. And the difference is, what do you think? I want you to guess. Let's see. There is several rules and there is more for virtual meeting, but these are the most important ones. Leave the keyboard alone. Dress appropriately. Be aware of your surrounding. Whether you are in a place, and if you notice, I make sure the background is not the real background, could be a virtual one, or you can have a real background. But you need to be aware of the surrounding within your place, or also surrounding within your virtual meeting. Oh, mute your microphone when not talking. have this habit because you might be saying to somebody else a comment that the others do not like it. And in the virtual meeting, you might be two people, one place, and the others and have their own PCs, meaning you. Speak up. Make sure they can hear you. And you cannot do food. It's a very bad, it doesn't look good because they will be focusing at your face and while you're chewing food. So if you have to, and that's not a good idea also, turn off your cameras. But you shouldn't be turning off your cameras unless you have to. Stay seated, stay present. Because once you are on a virtual, you have a tendency of doing something else. So you have to practice the discipline to stay seated and stay present. Question, comment? Do you think there is something we missed in the virtual meeting versus the live meeting? Now, do you know the difference between teams and group? Let me know. Thank you.